Kevin Rudd's focus has been squarely on national security while he's been here in Cairns, following, of course, yesterday's terror raids in Melbourne, which foiled a plot on Sydney's Holsworthy Army Barracks. Now, what will the government do in relation to this? There's already talk of perhaps a change in the way security is managed at these military bases. The Prime Minister says that is now under review, whether it should still be civilian security or military security at these bases. And what further steps can we expect on anti-terror measures in the wake of this plot being uncovered? Well, joining us here in Cairns for a talk about this and also what we can expect at the forum over the next few days is the Foreign Minister, Stephen Smith. Minister, welcome to the program.
Morning, David.
Firstly, on these terror raids, Shabaab, the group that these men were allegedly linked to, what can you tell us about them? And is this group, Shabaab, linked to Al-Qaeda?
Well, firstly, Shabaab is a terrorist group that we've looked at in the past. It has come under review. Consideration in the past has been given as to whether it should be listed as a terrorist organisation under Australian domestic law. These things are always constantly kept under review, but given the events of the last couple of days, obviously that now comes into consideration and review again. I don't want to say anything which, for example, would prejudice the rights of those people who have been detained or who have been arrested. Obviously, we presume their innocence, but we're dealing with a very serious situation here. So all of those things that you've referred to, the security arrangements, they will of course be, in the normal course of events, exhaustively reviewed and assessed.
But you said you've looked at Al-Shabaab in the past and it obviously hasn't been listed as a terrorist organisation here in Australia. Is that because no connection was found with Al-Qaeda?
Well, I don't obviously want to go into the details of that earlier consideration. Suffice to say that it has been listed by some countries as a terrorist organisation. These things we keep under constant review. But when we have events like we've seen in the last 24, 48 hours, obviously that review is heightened and that'll now fall for further consideration by the Attorney General. In terms of its links, obviously one of the things that we are generally concerned about is that just as governments have conversations one to the other, so do terrorist organisations have conversations. And that's one of the points we've made in the past, that we're dealing here with an international phenomenon. We need to be vigilant, not just for Australians living and working in Australia, but also for Australians offshore. And there's no one spot where terrorism is reserved exclusively for. So we have challenges in Southeast Asia, we have obviously challenges in the Afghanistan-Pakistan border area, but there are obviously challenges in Somalia as well, which has for the last 2 decades effectively been a lawless or a stateless society.